Batman Arkham Origins is easily one of the best Batman games out there. It has an amazing atmosphere, gameplay, voice acting, and a dark and fantastic soundtrack. But despite that, when it came out, it was received with mixed reviews and is generally seen as either worse than the other Arkham titles or often not even mentioned at all when talking about the franchise.
Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.
The Arkham franchise's biggest strength, in my opinion, has always been the incredible atmosphere and art direction. Origins is no different in that regard. Gotham looks just as incredible as Arkham City, but this time it also has a strong Christmas atmosphere, which honestly makes this game perfect to play during Christmas. The map is covered in snow, with light fog all around. It's very atmospheric and makes you feel like Batman almost instantly. Even though half the map is the same location as the previous game, it does look somewhat darker with visibility being limited. Since Origins is a prequel, no one really knows what or who Batman is, not even Gordon or the Gotham police, which means that even a lot of the criminals you're fighting think that Batman is either a blood-sucking demon or some kind of other evil villain, which this younger Batman also plays into, as his behavior is much less calculated and much more aggressive and violent than in the rest of the franchise.
Time to talk. Where's Cobblepot? Let me go! If you insist. Please, stop. Stop! I'll talk. I'll tell you anything you want to know. Please! Too late. I already have what I need. No! Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man! I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me. What are you? I'm Batman.
When in Asylum or City, you always knew that Batman wouldn't actually kill anyone. Here, whenever he threatens someone, you almost feel like Batman is holding his dark side back and like it takes him a lot of effort to not actually kill anyone. The entire game generally has a much darker tone, be it within the gameplay and the way you beat up enemies, or within the story that even has some creepy and unsettling moments. One of my favorite moments is the Mad Hatter encounter, which I did not expect to be this fun and visually creative. After he tries to brainwash you, you land in a dark and twisted version of Wonderland that looks amazing. It plays like a 2D game and reminded me a lot of the Scarecrow missions from Arkham Asylum. The art direction here is great, and you can see that the developers put a lot of effort into making this boss fight stand out and unique. The way everything seems upside down, the massive spoons and teapots, carts and other creepy things lurking in the shadows. The art direction is also present outside of such missions. The city looks awesome and is full of neo-noir and dark gothic and art deco inspired architecture. Gotham City always had this special look where everything feels vintage but also modern at the same time. You can never tell when exactly the comics, movies or games take place. The art direction and various poster designs around the city are clearly inspired by the 1940s and 50s, which is something that can also be seen by a lot of the villains. Batman constantly has to fight greedy mobsters and gangsters, and a lot of them sound like they were ripped straight from a 1950s gangster movie. But at the same time, there's lots of modern, if not even futuristic technology around the city. All of that gives the world a feeling of timelessness, and that's one of the things I love so much about the Arkham franchise. These games are a masterclass in how to create unique and memorable environments. Having said that, I do believe that out of all the games within the series, Arkham Origins has the weakest visuals. I don't want to say worst because that wouldn't be the right word here. It definitely looks beautiful, the textures have a much higher resolution than the previous games, and the world can be really stunning and detailed at times. But it does feel a bit washed out. Arkham City was the first game that introduced this style of art direction. Asylum also had a gothic look to it, but it was very limited and set in a mostly linear environment environment with not that many opportunities for the architecture to shine. City changed all of that and had mind-blowing visuals in my opinion. Mind-blowing in the sense of how unique it looked. It was really the first game to capture the feeling of Batman roaming around an open world and spreading fear among the criminals of Gotham. But despite being bigger and even partially set in the same area, Origins still somehow feels smaller. And I really don't know why that is, because the scale has not changed. Arkham City in Origins is still the same size as in City, even larger considering that there are now no security walls preventing you to leave. One reason for why that is could be the fact that you can't even reach a lot of the rooftops. Even on the bridge, you're limited to a lower area, and it's like this for most other buildings on the whole map. It's surprising, and I don't know why they did this, because in the previous game you could reach almost every spot you could see without issues. Being limited to the lower levels of the map does make it feel slightly smaller in my opinion, and unfortunately this is another area where Origins didn't put as much love and attention into as the other games within the series.
The Commodore Amiga 500 now comes with the exciting Batman package, or class of the 90s, the fun way to learn. Is he doing his homework or playing the Joker?
When exploring the city streets here, while they do look great in some areas, for the most part it feels like the developers put a lot less attention into them as in City, for example. In City, the streets and lower levels of the map looked amazing, and you could have easily played the game by spending most of your time running through the streets, and your experience wouldn't have been any worse than someone parkouring their way through the rooftops. In Origins, there's really no reason to explore the streets aside from beating up thugs or doing some collectibles. Still, overall the map looks awesome, and despite being a bit worse than in the other titles, I still think that it's atmospheric as hell. The Christmas and winter atmosphere is really strong here, and playing this game all you wanna do is get some cookies and hot chocolate and just beat up any thugs you see. It really has that cozy feeling that is everywhere, be it outside in the snow-covered map or inside of buildings that are full of Christmas-themed decorations and Christmas party flyers. It really is the perfect game to play when it's snowing outside, and I love playing Origins whenever it's the most wonderful time of the year. One of the things that I love about this game is how Batman is still relatively new to this job and not as experienced as in the other games. Even over the course of the story, he makes plenty of mistakes and is clearly still learning how to fight crime in Gotham. Origins also shows him interacting with Gordon and the Joker for the first time. In Gordon's case, it's especially interesting because they both don't trust each other, and early on Gordon is actually denying Batman's existence and then actively trying to arrest him. All the while Batman thinks that every single cop in the GCPD is corrupt and working together with Gotham's underworld, including Gordon.
He doesn't leave suspects with broken bones and missing teeth. We've earned Gotham's respect. If that were true, I wouldn't believe it. Gordon, clear the line of fire! Hold your fire! If he moves, take him down. You've got nowhere to run. Move, Gordon! I'm taking him down!
There is even a really cool mission where you have to infiltrate the GCPD, and I'd even go so far and say that it's one of the best moments in the franchise. You get so much lore inside there, but also learn just how deep the levels of corruption run in Gotham. It also shows that not everyone here is bad, and how some of these cops are being blackmailed or forced to do bad things. It adds a bit of complexity that I think is often overlooked when people talk about this game. With Batman still being new to the scene, everyone seems to be either afraid of him or think that he's just a made-up myth. The fear factor is the biggest here, as most of the criminals think Batman is some kind of demon bat from hell, and you can overhear their conversations where it's clear that they are really afraid of him. I love that this fear factor is here, and there's even cool details such as some of the criminals begging for mercy when you confront them or screaming for help as you break their bones. It makes you feel like an actual predator that stalks the night and hides in the shadows of Gotham City. The combat is honestly one of the best in gaming in general. This free flow system that the Arkham games created is extremely addictive and satisfying. It is somewhat repetitive, but honestly I don't mind that because of how fun it is. My entire time playing I was actively looking for fights because it looks and feels so good when you're beating people up, breaking their bones, throwing them from rooftops and spreading fear. It feels like a dance, and you can also see how heavily it influenced other franchises such as the recent Middle-earth games or even Assassin's Creed. My biggest complaint here is that during cutscenes we often see Batman's eyes glow in the shadows, which makes him look even more terrifying and otherworldly and also spreads even more fear among his enemies. But outside of cutscenes and actual gameplay, his eyes look normal and there is no way to change that. I'm not sure why they didn't at least give us the option to make them glow through the suit. It would have been a really cool feature, but it's not really a deal breaker or a big issue. Just a wasted opportunity in my opinion. Overall, I believe that Batman Arkham Origins is still a really underrated game that doesn't get talked or mentioned that often. It is definitely a fun game and a great time, especially around Christmas.
And what do you do for a living?
Something else that I think is interesting but not necessarily connected to Origins itself is the scale and design of Batman Arkham games in general. There is a big wish within the community for a large open world Batman game where we can explore all of Gotham, not just the small parts that City, Origins and Knight lets us see. I think that would be absolutely amazing, especially if they keep this dark Art Deco and Gothic architecture and style. However, it does make me wonder if part of the reason for why the Arkham franchise is so popular and successful is the smaller scale that the games have, because this smaller scale allows the developers to put a lot more attention to details into the games, but also concentrate on improving other areas such as the gameplay, story, etc. That doesn't mean that a huge open world Batman game would be bad or worse in quality, especially when developed by competent people, but they still feel like the quality could still suffer. Either way, I personally really hope that the franchise will go back to its roots rather than focus on multiplayer games. To me, Batman has always been a single-player story experience.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night.